Hey there, this is Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, the show where we talk about the art of intentional living. And today is a very special episode because we are filming live from the Sheraton Carlsbad in Carlsbad, California, in front of our first live studio audience. Let's hear it from you guys. Woo! It is so exciting. It's a big day here, and we also have a team watching us on Zoom, which you can't see, and we're streaming out to the globe right now. And I want to tell you, it's my honor and privilege to be here as your host of this show that we've been doing for 6 years. And the fact that today is a big day that we're doing it in front of our first live studio audience. We're hosting an event teaching these amazing, gorgeous women how to launch and star in their own TV show. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. So what to expect from this show, I want you to stay till the very end because I have an extremely amazing guest with me today, Mr. James von Praagh. He's a world-renowned medium, evidence medium, and he's written multiple New York Times best-selling books. He has coached some of the most famous people in the world, and I'll talk more about that when I bring him up on stage with me. So get ready for a treat because you never know who might show up. So what we do on this show is every week we set an intention statement, and an intention statement is something that you can focus on for the entire week so that through the repetition of saying that intention statement over and over again, it starts to reprogram the subconscious mind and it becomes anchored into who you are. So our intention statement this week is, I have today to pay attention to the signs from my heavenly loved ones. Okay, so do you ever just find money in weird places or feathers, or you think you put something in some place and it's not there and then you find it somewhere else? And then of course you see the numbers and the letters and hear the songs. That's all guidance from the other side. So that is not coincidence. And James is going to go deep into that today. So what I want you to do with this intention statement is there is a beautiful graphic that my team makes, and it's probably showing on the screen right now. And what I want you to do with that is I want you to hop over to my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official. And there's a little button there that says intention statements. And that graphic is already there. So go there, take a screenshot of it, and use it as your screensaver for the entire week. So every time you look at your phone, you remember that. You're reminded of that. And that's how that becomes integrated into you. So go check it out. And if you're not following me there and you feel called to follow, give me a follow over there. I'd love to have you over there. All right, so what's happening here is we are at a time of the year when it's the holidays around here. It's busy. We're with family. We're with friends. It gets a little crazy and chaotic. And I want you to take this moment right now while you're with us during this show and be present. Be present. Shut off all distractions, noises, so that you can really get the most out of this TV episode. And we end every episode with a powerful mantra meditation to take everything that we've learned today and ingrain it in us so that at the end of this show, you leave it feeling better than you did at the beginning. Isn't that so cool? All right, so what we're going to do is we're getting ready to bring James on stage. Can't wait for the interview. But first, let's hear a word from our sponsor, the Spifter.
This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without.
We are rolling, and we are here with James von Praagh. James, it is so nice to have you here. Yes.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Well, before we get into the interview, I want to share with all of the viewers and everyone that's here a little bit about you.
Okay.
internationally renowned, #1 New York Times bestselling author of over a dozen spiritual classics, including Talking to Heaven, one of my favorites, The Power of Love, and his latest release, Wisdom from Your Spirit Guides. James von Praagh is hailed throughout the world as a pioneer in the mediumship movement and recognized as one of the most accurate spiritual mediums working today. His messages have brought solace, peace, and spiritual insights, changing millions' view of both life and death. You've been on Oprah Winfrey, Larry King, Dr. Phil, The View, Coast to Coast. You've helped celebrities like Eva Longoria and so many other people. Well, it is such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes,
Eva
yes.
Longoria, yeah, that's funny.
I know. I don't know why her name popped up. I know Cher and so many
was
other
a good
people.
one. Yeah, Eva, I just told Eva we were doing a show. We were doing a movie down in New Orleans, based on a book of mine, and she was not known then. She said, "Can you help me?" I said, "Well, what can I do for you?" She said, "I just made a pilot. You think it's going to do anything?" And I said, "It's going to change your life." So that was Desperate Housewives.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. So years later, I'm on the Universal Lot with Ghostbusters, the show I created, the Ghostbusters show, and then I'm in the lunchroom there, and there's Eva getting her lunch, and she comes down the aisle, and our eyes match, and she goes, "Ah!" And I went, "Ah!" And I ran to her and said, "Well, did your life change?" And she said, "Uh-huh." So that's my Eva story. But yeah, we hung out a lot. It was, a lot of people I've worked with. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Well, so I want to get into your story, though. How did you discover your gifts?
As a child, I was always very sensitive, I was very open. I think most children are, and they don't become programmed, I guess, until the adults say, "No, you can't do that," or teachers say, "No." And it kind of like pushes them back, their imagination of creativity. And I think they get into the space of people pleasing.
Yes.
So they end up like people pleasing, do what mommy wants to get love, or daddy get love, or whoever, so they're accepted and approved. And I find that many people tend to do that. And then probably the middle age, like 30, 40, whatever, they don't feel like they're themselves. And there's some kind of feeling like, what's going on here? I don't feel like myself. And it's really because they've been living someone else's life instead of their own life. Because they've given their power away instead of taking on themselves and being who they are. And look at all that, those wonderful things, those gifts they have, and they put them to the side, trying to live someone else's life. So once they get to that state, and I'm so happy for your show because it's also helping people get back to who they are.
Yes.
And they feel free. They feel like I'm here. So as a child, I would see colors around people, known as the aura. I would see spirits around people, not all the time, sometimes. But it was the worst when I was playing with friends out in the street and they'd say, "Oh, there's that man with a beard around you." What are you talking about? Or, "Oh, I love the purple and green around you." "Are you crazy?" And I'd run to my mom and say, "I see things and they don't see them." And she said, "Oh, as a little girl, I used to do that too. I used to see angels, and I knew they were always protecting me and so forth." So it was never a thing that was negated in my family, even though I was raised very religious, Catholic. It just never, it was normal, it was natural. One fun story, I mean, there's so many, but I was in a crib, and I was about, I'd say 18 months old, maybe younger, and my parents went and stayed in the living room, and I'm a night owl, so I wanted to be up, right? So at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, they put me in the crib, and I cried. And my father used to bring in these big lollipops. He'd go, I think that would do it. So I started crying again, and almost every other night I'd say, a man in a corner came to me with white hair, and he had some kind of a mobile, and I was playing with this mobile. I was like, "Oh, he's so sweet, pretty blue eyes." And years later, I was with my grandmother, and she showed me a photograph album, and she's turning the pages, and I said, "Who's that guy?" She goes, "That's your grandfather. He died before you were born."
Wow.
Said, "He came to me when I was a baby. He was the one." So, and then another thing happened in first grade. A lot of them. First grade, I had a boy come to me in this room through a window. He said, "His name is Andrew. We knew each other in the Civil War." I said, "Okay." And he said, "One day you're going to write a book about children." I said, "What?" And he gave me a symbol to use. I don't know. And now I don't remember any of this until I wrote my book about children in heaven, growing up in heaven, it's called. And at the very end of that book, I was writing, I'm like, I need something to show that described the soul. And that image, that memory of 50 years ago came back into my consciousness. Like,
wow.
That's it. It's what the soul is, the geometric, wonderful numbers of the soul, measurement of the soul. And it was fabulous. It was perfect. So, yeah, I mean, I've had them a lot. I went to my teacher in first grade, and I said, "Your son's going to be in a car accident." I said, "He's not going to get hurt, but he'll be hurt." And she said, "How do you know this?" I said, "I just could see it. I could see clairvoyantly this would have before it happened." And 10 minutes later, the principal came in, took the teacher out. The teacher came back finally, and she goes, "James, come here." I'm like, "Okay." And she said, "How did you know?" I said, "What?" And I started crying. And she said, my son was playing soccer and the ball went in the street and a car hit him, but just his leg was broken. He's okay. And of course, I started crying even more because I thought, because I had that vision, I caused that to happen.
You thought you did it.
And she said to me, and thank God she wasn't a nun, because it might have been a different story.
Right.
She said, one day maybe whatever you said to a 6-year-old, one day maybe you'll help people. And maybe this is a gift that God gave you. And that was really the beginning of that. And and then my rest of the time, probably 8, 9, 10, 11, and it stopped, completely stopped. Then puberty happened, so I think something was different then, and didn't pay attention to it. Because again, it was such a natural thing.
Yes.
And you don't see them all the time just pop up, but just that sometimes you'll be aware of that.
Yes.
And then I had a normal everyday life, and I wanted to be a sitcom writer, so I moved, long story short, moved to LA, and in a weird, very weird circumstances, I ended up working at the William Morris Agency in the basement, pulling contracts out for microfiche, which no one knows microfiche anymore.
Right, right.
Any of you guys know? And it was there that the lady said to me, do you want to see a medium? And I said, what is a medium? He said, someone talks to dead people. I said, I really don't believe that. I know what I believed, but I didn't necessarily believe in that. And then she brought me this man named Brian Hurst in Manhattan Beach.
Mm-hmm.
He was a British medium. And I walked into the apartment, and he looked at me and goes, you're a medium. I'm like, oh, no. And I just moved here from New York. So the simple New Yorker, the first thing I get is, this guy's like, you're a medium. So,
right.
California, land of fruit and nuts. Here we go.
Right.
So, but he went on. He told me things about myself, my family members that had passed over. It was very accurate. And he got my mind just going. And I thought, I got to read up about more what this is, psychic phenomena, meditation, and so forth. So I went to a bookstore called the Bodhi Tree Bookstore in LA.
Right.
It was the #1 New Age bookstore in the day. And they would every weekend and let you sit there. They'd let you sit all over. And I just went really from section to section to section. I was like a sponge. And I was like, this sounds real to me. This is it. And then years later, I was working at TV Paramount Studios. I'm preparing contracts. I'm playing, but preparing them. And a lady, my coworker, walked into her cubicle at 12:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. I remember this. And there was a lady behind her spirit. And she looked right at me, just like the Sixth Sense movie, which might be based on my life, I'm not sure. Seems like it. And she said, that's my granddaughter. Tell her I'm okay. I had a house in Idaho with white shutters, and she used to come every summer. And I taught her how to needlepoint, and we made a footstool cover together.
How old were you then?
I was then 24, 25, 26, right around there.
Yeah.
And then I was everything, she understood everything. And I freaked out. Like, what? This is so weird, because now I can't live a normal life.
Right.
What was going to be with my life now? So I ran out of that Paramount and back to my apartment, and I was pacing the floor, because who can you talk to about this?
Right.
So I called up that man, Brian Hurst, the medium. He said, James, do you not remember the spirit, but they told you the prediction they made? I said, yeah. He said, James, that was 2 years ago today. So he took me under his wing and taught me a lot about development as a medium, what it's all about, the levels of mediumship, how to attune ourselves, how to open ourselves up, and so forth. It got me on my journey. Excuse me, got me on a journey, and that was close to 45 years now.
Wow.
No, maybe 40 years. Now I'm going to write my age.
Right. Don't age yourself more.
It doesn't matter, I can't think anyway. But so for a long, long time ago, 4 decades ago, and since then, and that him taking me in his training, I quit my Paramount job, and I worked with him developing, and I did. He helped me with doing readings, and the first time I did reading, it was all based on word of mouth for several years, actually. Months ahead, advance notice, and year ahead of clients. It's a year and a half, and I say, I can't just do any longer that. Year and a half, and in that time, the producers started coming. Unsolved Mysteries came to see me. There's a producer from a show called The Other Side, which was an NBC pilot, and they wanted me to be the main person to sell the show, which happened. And from that led to my book. The producer, Wendy Walker, she was producing Larry King, and she called me up, she goes, do you want to be on Larry's show? And I said, sure. And she goes, do you have anything? I said, well, I talk to dead people. I said, but anything else? I said, that's pretty good, I thought. But she goes, here's my card. So I gave her my card. She gave me her card, and I kept it. And two years later, I think I wrote my first book, Talking to Heaven. I didn't want to write the book, but a person who I helped heal his situation with his life after death, he pushed me to write the book, and thank God he did. And I called this lady up, and I said, I have something for Larry. She goes, what are you talking about? I said, I wrote a book called Talking to Heaven. And she said, well, Larry's not really into that anymore. And I said, and immediately her grandfather came through. or her father came through and told her about the glasses that she has in a drawer, that the left part is broken off. Her mother takes 10 pills. She needs to cut down to 5. This mother's doing this morning, that, and all these details. And she said, I'll call you right back. And she called back 15 minutes later, and it was December 7th, 1989.
Wow.
And I remember this changed my life. And
Wow.
she said, what are you doing? Everything you said made sense to my mother. Oh, my God. What are you? And she was freaking out. What are you doing tonight? And I said, nothing. I just want to be Larry King. I said, I'd love to be Larry King.
Yes.
So that was December 7th, I think it was, 1987, I think, or maybe in the 90s. I'm in the late 90s, 97 it was. It was 97. So I went to CNN and here in LA, and the show started at 6 o'clock. He'd never had a medium on before. He was a little nervous. Larry was a bit nervous, but it reminded me very much of my father with the same accent. My father's from the Bronx. He was from Brooklyn. It was very similar.
I'm from Long Island. We're
And you're
close.
from where on Long Island are you?
Deer Park.
Deer Park.
Yes.
Yeah,
Close to you.
Yeah.
What happened with him?
Yeah, and Larry's, I did a whole show from 6 o'clock, and the phone calls started coming in from all the CNN bureaus around the world. And the book was at 6,000 copies. It's all they put out, the first print, because they didn't think anyone wanted to hit the subject matter.
Right.
They're wrong. So the call stopped the CNN Sunday afternoon.
Wow.
From Friday night to Sunday. And the book went from 600 to 600,000 in less than a month.
Amazing.
And it was called The Miracle in Publishing. Yeah, it was pretty wild ride.
Such a great story.
Yeah.
Wow. So your latest book is Wisdom from Your Spirit Guides, right? Is that your latest?
The Power of Love.
The Power of Love.
Before that.
Okay.
But I can talk about both of them because they're both pretty incredible.
Yeah, first let's talk about this. Why, why that book, Wisdom from Your Spirit Guides?
Well, I have a school online, the JVP School of Mystical Arts.
Yes.
And in that school, I have over 40 different courses. And one of them at the time before I did this book, I would say to my students, what would you like to hear from? I wanted to get what do people want to hear from the most? And not overall, it was guides. How do I get in touch with my guide, my personal guide? What are the guides? Where do they reside? How do they help me in my life, and so forth? So I wrote this because there's been a lot of stuff out there which isn't accurate to me, from my life experience. And I thought, I'm very known for bringing things very down to earth and very real. And I mean, I don't sell people these, things.
Right.
It's pretty real. So it's a really excellent book about, in depth, about your guides, all different types of guides that we have, how to call upon your guides, how to feel when they are in your energy space, each particular guide, whether it's a joy guide, a philosophy guide, a career guide, when you can call upon them, even though they're always with us.
Right.
They're always with us. They're there, but are we there?
Right.
So, and they change. People think I have this guide my whole life. No, you can have several guides that stay with you for a lifetime or lifetimes, but many times a guide will be with you for a certain particular project. Let's say you're starting your own business. Let's say you're starting a baking business. You will more than likely bring through a guide in that space who will inspire, who is an expert in cooking, if you will, or baking, who will inspire you. Inspire means in spirit.
Yes.
To bring that ability, those aspects of cooking from your soul that you've probably had many times before, bring them out into the world. And it's an amazing thing. So we do all different types of works, whether it's painting, whether it's accounting, whether it's hosting a show. It's all different types of things. They work hand in hand with us because it's important that their messages get out there.
Yes.
And that's how we have to look at this. And I think the consciousness is shifting, even though some crazy times right now. I do believe you see more of that craziness when there's more of a light, there's more of an energy coming to question things and to open things up a bit.
That's definitely what is happening right now.
Yeah, we're opening up. We're opening different ways of being and seeing and appreciating, and we just got to remember responsibility and integrity.
Yeah, my prayers, calling all angels and guides of the highest truth and compassion who are ever right to serve me. I grant you permission to intervene in my life and make the pathway smooth and easy. And just
you don't need me.
No. I'm just saying. I learned from reading you. Just granting them all the that power, because isn't that one of the things that guides and spirit won't interfere unless we do grant them permission?
Well,
right?
They'll always be with you, but
they're with us.
If you want them to reach in closer to help, you can always say, I want it deeper. I want it, please come closer to me. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful prayer. Last night I was on a call for my school on the Zoom, and we're talking about a development circle, and I said, all of you should come up with your own prayer. And the reason why they said, we want to copy yours. And no, that's mine. So you want to put your energy on that. You want to put your energy out in the universe. And that intention, I think your intention is incredible, your intention work there. And I think that's perfect. It opens up the doorway, let's say, but it also opens up your mind. So you might think it's just one side for them. It's also for your mind. It gives the mind that moment that's going to be the opening up moment.
Yes.
That's why you're saying that prayer. You're working them, and you're working yourself to open up. So you'll be able to receive much more. So before I work, I say a prayer, and I welcome them around me, and I put myself in that space of receptivity. Because I don't go around many people ask me this because bad TV is out there, where people walking around in a bakery and this dead person, or in a butcher shop, dead person, or in a cab. It doesn't work that way. And that to me is not done in a respectful or sacred way.
Yeah.
It has to me be very sacred. Otherwise, you're making fun of this process, and you're not bringing yourself up to a higher level of standards. And I think that many mediums, I'm just going off here if you don't let me.
Please. I'm loving this.
Thank you, don't mind me. I think that when you do mediumship, anyone medium out there, I tell all my students this, that you're an ambassador to that spirit world. And that world is omnipresent love, which it is. Fear is only an emotion from this physical three-dimensional world. Love is what there only is.
Universal.
It's universal. And I often tell people that, you're as a soul, 70% of your soul is out here. Only 30% is in the physical. So why do you pay so much attention to this? And when we pay attention to that and work with our higher self, which you're doing with your type of work, so whether it's intention work, visualizations, allowing yourself, you're bringing in those possibilities of your true self, your higher self, down into this heavy, dense vibration of the physical. And when we know that thoughts are things, and when you have a positive thought and you keep that thought continually in a positive state, you'll affect the body. You'll affect every cell, every muscle, every part of your body, because we're all connected with that vibration. It's called vibration. So you want to be in a vibration of love, not fear.
Yeah.
Because fear is false ego appearing real.
Yes.
And that's only human. It's not in the spirit.
Yeah, and it's low on the the vibration and emotional scale, and it's not
so
good. You
low.
want the higher, the love, the gratitude, the joy. Yeah. I had an experience once when you were telling that story. It was a few years ago. I was in my office studio, and my son and his friends are in the music industry, and they were down here for some reason, and they stopped by the office to say hi. And they live in these houses in the Hollywood Hills, that young musicians. And my son said to me, Jason thinks he's got a ghost in their house. There's something going on. And instantly, this man appeared in front of me. And I said, who's George? I didn't know where it came from. And they said, well, George lives in the house too. And I said, it's not Jason's, it's George. It's actually his grandfather, who kind of looked like Einstein, and it was just a moment of a flash. And they were like, whoa. I said, no, he's just coming there to give him love. That's all I got of it.
That's a lot.
But it was instantaneous. As soon as he said they think there's a ghost, the man appeared right in front of me.
And knew that you'd be able to see him.
Yes.
Because why would he appear? He knew you wouldn't. He knew you would be able to.
So everybody has this
fearful way, but do it in an open way, a loving way.
Yeah. So everybody has this.
Everybody has the ability. Like everyone's psychic, and not everyone's mediumistic, but I would say everybody is definitely psychic.
Yes.
But if you have like that sense of seeing a spirit, again, it's a flash of that. But then you have that, then you have to sit and develop that ability. If you choose to.
Yes.
If people choose to, they sit and develop that. It's a process. And there's no spiritual bypass, right? So we've got to really work at opening ourselves up to that higher level. But it also helps us to work with our soul. I often say you're working on your soul self. And by sitting in a development circle, it's not just talking to dead people. It's developing your own sense of self, your soul self. Your own power comes back to you. You remember how beautiful a being you are and how much light you are. So it's all that, and when you sit to develop mediumship, and for me, I'm blessed because I chose to do that, and it's changed my life in so many ways. Talking to dead people too, yeah, that's good, but that's a phenomena part of it. That's a phenomena. But living a spiritual life, the best way you can, for me, was living a soulful life, was being number one, become aware of your soul self and living accordingly.
And you said it so beautifully, remembering who you are, really, because we do forget in this 3D world and bombarded with all the messages and the advertising and the programming and all the things that are around us every day.
On an energetic level.
Yeah.
So just think of it this way. Just think thoughts are things.
Yep.
And all of the thoughts are there, whether it's from the television, whether it's from the family, whether it's friends. The energy is all out there. So in that book, Talking to Heaven, my first one, I said it's like the man in the Velcro suit, because we have people's energy on us all the time.
Yes.
And when people think of us, boom, they're to the target. The thoughts are bullets. They go right to the target. And many of us go home, we're exhausted, we don't know what depleted, or even if we're home, we're talking on the phone. We left our energy somewhere else, and you're picking up someone else's stuff. So
what's one thing we could do to get that energy off?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I knew it. So what I do every morning, which is it's a really great, what I've done, it works really well for me. And the thing with me, I have to remember to do it all the time. So I know I take a shower in the morning, so I do it in the shower. So I cleanse my physical body. When that's finished and the suds are down, the hair's done, I imagine then that the rain, that with this water, the shower water, are beautiful, I can say golden light from a heavenly waterfall maybe. And you can create this on your own way. And it hits my crown chakra and goes through me, surrounds every cell, every muscle, every fiber. And I set the intention. And so then around me and cleanse every field I'm in. And any dense energy or any foreign energy that does not belong to me but someone else, I want that to go now out down to Mother Earth through my fingertips and my toes. And I'll stand there and wait as the water hits. I'll imagine that. I swear it feels like Hershey's like chocolate coming out of it.
Melting
coming out of my fingertips and my
Wow.
toes. And when I know it's fully out, you'll know that, get that sense it's out. You'll just feel an opening. And feel, wow. Then I say, may God go before me and show me the way. So I'm setting up the word God and the word love are the highest frequency vibrational words we have in this three-dimensional world. So I surround myself with that loving energy of God. May God go before me and show me the way. So I'm programming my day, because if I say God, that vibration is going to surround me through the day. So what's happening is anyone that comes into your space have to be on that vibration, otherwise they're gone.
Yep.
So you'll be very shocked how many people in your life, if you do consistently, will leave, will say bye-bye, you'll say bye-bye. It'll naturally fall off. Those are not that vibration. I've seen it in marriages, I've seen it in friendships, I've seen it in employment, all the time. I just had 4 people this year, just bye-bye, because I can't, I'm on a higher vibration. I've been working on myself every day. And I have to have people that are around me. And that it's just self-aware and then loving self. And, you want people to be on the same level. Otherwise, why not?
And the cleansing of it is really the releasing, right? We think it's a forcing.
Yes.
It's not. It's an allowing and letting it release.
100%.
And the things just fall away.
It's natural. And it's a way of taking care of our energetic bodies, because, again, remember that those thoughts are things. So people and this is another one I got, which is really interesting. I guess 2 or 3 months ago, I was doing reading for a couple, or I forget who, and there was worry energy around them. And I said, oh, there was worry energy, there's little bubbles of worry around the head. I said, you can't do worry. I said, I know you're a parent, I know you have children, you're worried about him for the college, you're worried about her for the boyfriend, or whatever. There's a worry. I said, don't place worry energy on them, because it'll go right to them. It'll surround them, that worry energy. And then when they try to make a choice in life, they have to do it by going through that worry energy. So it's like wearing red tinted glasses, but worry glasses. So their choice is not going to be completely easy, because they're going through your worry energy.
That is such a good point. When I reinvented my life, I walked away from my corporate job.
Good for you.
I sold my house and everything in it, got my twins off to college, and moved from Chicago to San Diego and started I Have Today. No, completely blind. And there was so much worry from my family, and all of them, the kids, my sisters, my dad. And I would say to them, please don't worry about me. Please don't put your worry energy. I'm a competent woman. I've never gone a day without a meal, or a night without a bed. I'm very blessed, and I'll figure this out. So don't give me your worry.
Exactly, 100%.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
But a lot of people do that, so you should teach it on your show for sure.
Well, I do.
Why don't you do it with the intentions?
I do. It's actually I do a change your language, change your life.
Perfect.
And worry is the first word. Get it out. Replace it with wonder.
Yeah.
What if you wondered that everything was going to be okay? What if you wondered that your kids were good? What if you wondered that everything, right? So much more empowering. And that is our choice. We do have that choice.
But life is made up of a series of choices, either love or fear. And fear is human-based, that's the based in human emotion. And worry comes up, worry is based in fear, and fear is of this human. And love is who we are. That's our natural energetic state.
Yeah.
And that's, so when we fill it with the fear energy, We're not doing a service to ourselves.
No,
I mean, it can motivate us to certain things, of course, but when it overrides your life, then it's hurting you.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. So talk about your new book. What'd you call it?
The
Power
book,
of Love,
The
right?
Power of Love.
Power of Love.
The Power
I
of
haven't
Love.
read that one.
No, and it's out, and it's a simple book. All my books are pretty simple, pretty intense, but simple. I want to make sure that when I wrote a book, you have to, I believe, and I have a writer's workshop too that I created, but I believe that when you write a book, it needs to be simple enough that it's can be fed to everybody, spoon feed to everybody, because especially come with very esoteric little ways of looking at methods and things, ways of looking at things. You want to keep it simple.
Yes.
So Power of Love, just the exact word you're talking about, is based upon choices. That is love or fear. And I go into explanations about how many people, demonstrations really of people in my readings and so forth and places I've been where they've chosen fear instead of love. Mm-hmm. And I go into what happens at that point. So the book is all filled with that. And also what happens when you have love in your life, and then different techniques of remembering to bring love in your life. So for the power of love, that healing force of love.
Yes, it's so good. I'm going to ask if anybody has a question here. So
it's such a great audience.
It is such a great audience. And then I also want to ask, are you picking up on any energies?
I haven't started yet. You want me to? I will. But
I would love that. Would you guys love that? Yeah.
So first a question, then we'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A question? Does someone have a question they want to ask James? Otherwise, we can go right into seeing if you can pick up.
Okay. Well, there's a lady coming into my mind here. A lady, my mind, and I feel the lady over there. Is your mom passed over? Yeah. And I just I feel like she wants me to go here, right? And your name, please? Tony. And I'm going to ask everybody in the audience if you could just say yes, no, or I don't know. That's all you need to say. As she comes into me, I'm going to say she very much looks like you, very similar in respect, but she's young again. She's not old. She's young again. She's going on about something with her eyes or an eye trouble. There was some eye trouble before she passes. You understand that? And I know that she wants me to thank you for helping her at the end, helping her, assisting her. You might even have to wheel in a wheelchair. She said, thank you for the wheelchair, and bring it to her doctor appointment, she said. She's also telling me that you were, it was not easy for you because sometimes a wheelchair to go up and down and all around. And she remembers one experience with the office on the other side of the building and you had to go all the way around. Do you remember that one? And she's laughing about that. Your father's also passed, hasn't he, your father? Because she's talking about, I'm with your father. But before she goes there, she wants to come in, I want to talk about her. I do feel there was a sister as well of hers that had passed over. It might have been two, but one in particular I'm close with. The other one is okay, but I'm very close with one sister. And she's also talking to me about her sewing bag, her sewing kit, her sewing box. Do you own that, please? Yes, you do. Thank you. Because she said to you, you were looking at the sewing box recently. Does that make sense to you? You were looking at it. Could have been yesterday, the day before, but you were looking at it. And she was with you. When? Was it Tuesday? Was it this week you were looking at it? Okay, she said Tuesday now. And she's watching you do that. She also shows me little bits of jewelry you have of your mom, of hers. And she's so honored you have it. She said, it's not worth a lot, but she's so cute. But you have my trinkets, my things. And I know there's also a little bowl or a catch-all for little rings and stuff like that, right? Where when you get up in the morning, you can look at that, whether it's over a sink or this sort of thing. And she said to tell you that you did a great job for me. And do you have a brother living? Okay, because there's some work there with him and you, okay? So she said, please help to heal that situation with your brother. She's doing what she can do. He's a bit stubborn, she said, a bit stubborn. But just do what you got to meet people where this is James speaking, you got to meet people where they're at sometimes. You can't expect more from people than they are, right? Because they don't know that stuff yet. She wants me to thank you for everything you did. At the end, I feel like I'm in a bed at the very end. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I have a little bit of a sort of coma, but I go into the space of I'm not around, okay? And it could have been 2 or 3 days, but I feel like I'm not around. And that's when the spirits all came in, her mother, father, sibling. They were all there. And I got to tell that to you. Your father wants to say hello to you as well, but he's not as, what can I say? He doesn't talk as much as your mother does. And he said everything is fine. And he'd rather not. Okay, so we're going to honor that. But he'd rather not. But I will say, do you have his cufflinks?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He did say that. So he wants you to know he's a very pragmatic man, very down to earth, very black and white. And he knows, he said, and he has a little bit of an accent, this man. And he said, I wouldn't think of this stuff. I wouldn't have believed in this life, and not really, But he's open. This is very interesting. Now that I got him here, he wants to talk, right? But he's more of a philosopher, a person, than would be a receiver of this information. But he's more of he's interested in the process of communication, the scientific process, if you will, because that works for his mind, you see. I understand. One more, okay. Okay, and he's just funny. Now we get something he wants to stay, but he's with your mother, but he said, I'm helping your mother very much. There were years I could not be with her. And he said, we're making up for lost time. Oh. Okay?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, just one more thing, then I'll move on. Was there a gentleman that you worked for who was in business once? He was a boss of yours or a supervisor?
Yes.
Yes, and he's passed over.
Yes.
Because I feel like I want to go to this gentleman who you would have known through a career, through work, whether you're a personal secretary, assistant, or you helped him out. And he said to me, he didn't see you the way you are when he was on the earth, and he wants to apologize to you for not bringing out the more positive stuff. And he said tell you that. Makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. That's it. I'll leave you with that. Okay. Thanks.
That was beautiful. Amazing. I don't know if there's anybody else. You got time for one more?
Yes, okay. The father figure is right over here. Did your father pass over? Or the lady behind you? Is your dad passed? Okay. Who over here is the father? You have a father. Might be here. One or two. Not sure. I guess a father here. He has a very good sense of humor. He has a very light sense of humor for me, which is great. Because he's coming on my space, like I'm able to talk with him. He's a bit of a jokester, this man. Did your father live in a different place? He lived in California? And yours did as well? He lived in New York? Where do you live? Boston, fine. I'm going to go, then I'm sorry, I have to go here, because he give me something, and he started walking across the country to the East Coast. So I've got to go here. And what is your name? Rhonda. It's all right, Rhonda. Okay. So let me just work with you, Rhonda, if that's okay. He doesn't like a big hoopla at the end of his life. He doesn't want that. He's a very down-to-earth kind of person. Can I just say that to you? It makes sense, yes?
Yes.
Okay, because I got to hear your voice. So he's a very practical man. Although I will tell you, I feel like he liked to make lists of things. I feel like he had to make lists of things he's got to do for the day, or he likes to keep track of what he's doing, okay? Would you understand that?
Yes.
Would you have any memory of when you were a little girl, when you go to an office of his, and I'm not sure the office at home or was it or at work, where you sat in his chair behind a desk?
No.
You don't remember that? He gives me an image of a little girl on a chair at a desk, and it's his office. So I don't know if it's his home office or an office where he worked. I don't remember that. She doesn't remember that. Does that make sense to anybody else? No. So do you. So you'll keep that, because I don't get stuff like that easily. So just keep track of that. He's talking about you winning some trophies when you were younger. Did you have an awards or some trophies though? Okay. Do you have a daughter?
Yes.
Is she in sports at all?
She was.
She was. Did she win any awards, or are there trophies at your house or something, like little trophies or little awards somewhere?
Yes.
Okay, that's what he's talking about here. Okay, I understand that. So there must be, he's talking about you're changing that up. There's something's changed. I don't know if you're going to remove those recently, or how to get them out of the way, or think about doing something with those.
Yes.
Okay. And I got to say, he's talking about the holidays. He's with you for the holidays, he said. And I don't know why, but I get this beautiful feeling of a photograph of your father, and it's in that space. It's in the living room. It's a big picture of him. And I got to say, he's very much, is he Jewish background?
Yes.
Because I get the word like verklempt.
Verklempt.
I'm very verklempt, because I like that picture of him. It's a big picture of him. And I feel like you really looked up to your dad. You really looked up to your dad.
Yes.
Can I honestly say, I don't think you'd be here today without him.
Yes.
Because I think he encouraged you. And I think you were kind of daddy's little girl, you really were. And even though you don't remember that chair, which I see it, I can draw it, whether he's with you and your little girl and hopping that in the knee and just hanging out with you. And I like that about him. I like your dad. He would never come into this sort of thing. It just wouldn't. This is not his thing. I like books. I like a lot of books. I like colleges. I like universities. I like this sort of thing. And did your dad not finish university or college? He didn't get the chance to do that, did he?
Correct.
Because he wants to tell you now he has. Now he's involved in university. They can do that in the spirit world. They can definitely do that. And he's really proud of himself. And I know you wanted him. I know you thought your dad was always a student, a life student. And he is still learning. He's learning in academic kind of thing. I see legal work as well with your father. I see a lot of legal things around him. So I don't know. Oh, I see. Yeah. I feel as if, I don't know what that means. He showed me legal papers. So I don't know if anyone in the family is dealing with legal papers right now, or someone's a lawyer, but that's around that. Is there going to be a sale of a property or something? There's something going to need a lawyer. And he's talking to me about lawyers. And it's going to be someone that needs a lawyer, and they're going to question into 2 different lawyers. So would you remember that if you can't put it together now? He's all about protecting his children. I mean, he's really about the protection. And he's saying, this is coming up. And he said, tell her it's April. So it's April time. Okay, he just said that. So some of the lawyers. So please, there are 3 different lawyers and paperwork. Everything will be fine, but check out. He doesn't. One guy seems he's going to take you for granted or take advantage. Okay. Would he ever like pastrami on rye?
Oh, that's good.
He said, "I'll take
Pretty
pastrami
specific.
on rye."
Yep.
And I don't know if did he ever come out to visit you out here?
I'm sorry?
Did you ever have come out here? Did he ever visit out here with you or no?
Yes.
Did he ever go to Milton's?
I don't remember.
Okay. I don't know why he wants to say pastrami or rye. I don't know if you were getting a sandwich recently, but he's talking about that. He's laughing. Ha, ha, ha. Okay.
You get to eat all the pastrami and rye you want in heaven.
Oh, yeah, you can in the spirit world. If you have that desire, you can. You don't need it after a while, but you can. It's just validation that's his personality. And he said you talk to him all the time, and he hears you. Even coming here in the car, you were speaking with him, and he heard you. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, your house is a little up and down right now. Is that right? I don't know if you have to change plumbing or there's something going on there, but there's some movement around your house which is not settled or stable. So I think you need some handyman or something in there. So he's watching over that. He watches over your place a lot. You have very nice taste furniture. I like your house. It's very pretty. Shows me it. It's nice.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. So good. All right, so I want to ask you 2 more questions.
Okay.
The first question I ask all my guests, which is, how do you live the I Have Today way, which is intentionally in the present moment? But if you could start it with, I have today too, and look at the camera, because we save all of these for our guests. So it's the far camera.
I have today to love.
Ooh, could not have been said any easier or better, could it? So good, so good. And then what?
Let's say one more thing that's important.
Absolutely, yeah. We have some time.
People that every day, which I live in, I'm sure everyone here does, live in the day, live in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost my little girl, my 4-legged girl, Maisie, and very close. And she taught me everything, which I didn't realize till she passed out of the body. And I didn't grieve her. I'm like, what's going on when I grieve her? I thought, oh, wow. It's because I lived every moment of every day, the fullest of that moment.
Yeah.
And I didn't grieve. And it was great. So living the fullest of every moment is the best advice, you know? And also, every day on your path, there's either a teacher or a student. Yes. And we have to recognize that.
Yes.
Right?
Teacher or student. And we're both always both. You know,
we're both always both.
Yeah, but which one are we in that moment?
Yeah, let me put them on your path for you to just say something, to receive something, and feel that recognition. And so many times humans can be judgment-free first.
Yeah.
Like, okay, judgment is fear-based. That's just fear-based.
Yes,
because
it is.
I'm judging you because I'm going to feel better then because I'm insecure. So you got to get away from that and realize there are teachers and students every day on our path. Mm-hmm. And then it's amazing when we get into these spaces and we realize that we're all one. We're all connected. There's no the illusion is. 2 illusions that we live in the 3-dimensional world. Death, there isn't such thing as death. And that we're separate. We're not separate. We're all connected in some way. No matter what country you're from, what language you speak, what you look like physically, we're all connected as one being. And I know that very well. I had a near-death experience, and I experienced that oneness. So I know it.
You know it.
Can you imagine if you all knew it? I mean, the world would be a different place.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah. I know it.
I think on some level we all do, but we have to be reminded.
Right, that's what I mean. I know it intellectually, but of course the human side of me has, a lot of human moments, and it's connecting to remembering that every day. Yeah,
True.
it really is. This has been truly amazing.
Thank
I
you.
want you to stay till the very end because
Good.
we're about to do a mantra meditation.
Okay.
And I want to say to the audience that I hope you've really enjoyed this, which is our first live episode. I hope that you will subscribe and continue to follow us as I continue to bring on amazing people like James von Praagh and teach you how to live the, I have today way, which is intentionally in the present moment, and that you really can be empowered. You can be a student of life every day, the teacher and the student, and you get to make those choices every day, just like James said. So please give us a follow there. And if you are interested in maybe hosting your own show, then we have an opportunity for you to do that through our website at www.tvstarhost.com/apply. Find out if TV hosting is for you, if you're ready to take your business, your brand, your work, your mission out into the world in a really great way. The team and I would love to have a conversation with you about that. So, okay, well, what we do is I want everybody, we're gonna do a little meditation, and this is just as a way to anchor in everything that we've learned from you today, James.
Thank
It's
you.
been so extraordinary, hasn't he? Truly amazing, sharing his gift with us. And so I want everybody, I'll walk you through it, and then we'll do it. Okay, so what I want you to do is we're going to be closing our eyes, feet flat on the floor, hands on your lap. I see Sparky already in present state. Looks so good. And keep your hands on your lap if you feel grounded, or turn them up if you feel like you want to receive more energy. And this is the visualization we're going to do. We're going to breathe in for the count of 4, and we're going to pull that air all the way to our root chakra, our tailbone, right? And then I want you to imagine that is the color of a rainbow, like the mist of a rainbow. You're taking all that color in. And then as we count to 8, I'll do it for you, send energy to all 8 chakras, your root chakra, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown, and your soul star, which is a very important one, right? Because that is the way we receive. So we want to clear that karmic residue around there. And then I want you to breathe out for the count of 8 and imagine every negative memory, emotion, feeling, trauma, anything that's trapped in you. I want you to just breathe it out. I always imagine it's like sooty chimneys, fire, smoke from the chimney. Just breathe it out, okay? We're going to do that 2 times, and then just listen to the words, okay? So everybody close your eyes. Okay, taking that breath for 4 seconds through your nose and pull it down. And hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe it out. For 8 seconds, that should feel really good. I'm going to do that one more time. Breathe in for 4 through your nose. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And breathe it out for 8. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles big and small, I notice them all. Yes, 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 thank you. I have today to be present and live in love. I have today to pay attention to the signs from my heavenly loved ones. I have today to call in all my angels and guides who are with me all the time. Like James said, I just have to pay attention, tap into it. And I can do that. I know I'm never alone. I know that there's nothing I need to worry about, that I am safe and I am okay. And that this journey can actually be easier when I let it flow and come in. I am going to come up with my ritual every day to clear off toxic energy and remove it from my life so that I can be the cleanest, purest receptor of all the good that awaits me. I'm going to let go of any fear, doubt, guilt, or shame from my past and know that all I have is this present moment, and it made me who I am. and that there is no separation. We are all one. There is only one, and there is only love. And that is how I'm going to live from this day forward. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can open your eyes. I hope that felt really good.
Yeah, very.
You've been an amazing, incredible guest on this show, James. Where can people find out more information about you?
My two websites, but main website, vanpraagh.com is my last name. And then the JDP School of Mystical Arts is the other place.
Okay. Well, we are going to put that in the show notes, the description notes, and have that for everybody.
Thank you.
And we do have just like a minute or two. Does anyone have a quick question for James before we wrap up the show? All right, hold on. We're going to get a mic to you.
This is not a question. I don't know if this is on right now, but I just wanted to tell you that I, as part of the collective, I love you.
Thank you.
And I thank you for every single thing that you have done for humanity and for setting the precedent for me in my life. And you have helped me from the beginning to now, and I know you will continue to, because you are such a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
And I truly thank you, because
Thank you. I receive it.
I know you do.
Thank you. It's very nice.
Thank you so much for all the healing you've done.
Thank you.
You've set the precedent, and I love you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's give a warm thank you to James for being here today.
Thank you.
Such a fantastic show.
Thank you.
I want to thank all of my live attendees here, the family on Zoom, and to all the viewers and the listeners who are catching this on the podcast out there.
And all the spirits.
What?
And all the spirits.
And all of spirits who were here today, of course. How can we forget them? I know that's so good. And thank you to all the spirits that were here today that made this magical moment happen. All right. So follow me at Diane Forster Official, or I Have Today with Diane Forster. And we are streaming live on E360 TV right now. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you next time on I Have Today. Take care. Bye-bye.